Welcome back to Dirt Driven. We scored this 2005 1790, and I know you guys were wondering, Zach, what kind of planter are you going to pull home from the auction yard for your 70 acres of corn you got to plant this year? And to be honest with you guys, I can't believe this. I got a heck of a deal on it. You guys let me know down below how much you think I paid. But we hit that 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I got my first YouTube check, and we had to spend it on something. I know I was trying to buy a Kinsey. I felt like the Kinseys just got to be too expensive for what this thing cost me. So let me know down below your guesses, and if you like this planter, if you think it's ridiculous, give me your feedback. I'm curious about it. But it's been raining the last month. That's why we have no seed in the ground, and it's the first week of May. So that really stinks, but it is what it is. Can't control the weather. This planter actually came in from Nebraska, so I'm giving you guys some clues here, on a lowboy in a pouring down rainstorm. So let's go over to the footage of pulling it off the lowboy. Getting a little wet. The open station 8300. Got a really slick rig too. I'll try not to hit it with the dual. '2005 John Deere 1790. The 8300's getting soaked. Look at all the water. I've been doing a good job keeping it dry until now. I will say she looks pretty dang good in the rain though. This is one of my favorite farm trucks we got. So it sucked trying to pull this planter off a lowboy in the middle of pouring down rain, but we got it off, and I tried making a video for you guys, but I did such a bad job filming that I couldn't piece one together. And it started raining that day, and it didn't stop for basically a month. We've had roughly 12-13 inches of rain the past month, and we had one window that I could get in and plant with this, and I thought I was ready to go. I had the fertilizer in the ground. I had the field cultivated out with that cultivator we got off Facebook. And then I had Tim and Hunter Self come out to help me get the computer track 350 monitor figured out, show me how to run this thing basically. And they're like, do you have the block off for the tubes, for the bean rows, and which are these yellow things, we got to finish putting them on. And I was like, no, I didn't know I needed those. And then they're like, do you have the right cables for the radar to the 350 monitor? And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So rookie farmer mistakes, I guess, but didn't know what I needed. So we missed that window, and then it just kept on raining and raining and raining. And also shout out, I did film a little bit that day of Jeff from Heritage Tractor came out, helped me iron out this 2600 monitor in the tractor, and then just spent, he was here, I think he got here like 5:30, and then he didn't leave till 9 o'clock at night. We were just dry running this, so let's cut to that footage. So a huge shout out to Jeff there for spending time with me. I pulled this planter off the lowboy and didn't even know how to unfold it. That's how much of a rookie I was and pretty much still am. But the next thing we've got to do is this has precision E-set meters, and I've got to change everything over from beans. I already started messing with this one because I had to order parts, and I ended up getting those, I think, a place up in Carrollton, Missouri called Precision Yield Technology or something like that. So I went up there, picked those parts up, and we got to throw them on today. And then there's just some odds and ends. These are Schlegel closing wheels. I think one of these, yeah, that one's got a bad bearing. There's another one over here. Yeah, this is missing the little cotter pin to hold that in, so I got to hook this spring back up. And these are wore. The planter is in good shape. The coulters for no-till have just recently been replaced. The True V's are at like 15 inches. A lot of the bearings for the gauge wheels and all that stuff has been replaced. It's got these little mud scrapers, which are pretty cool. The only thing that sucks about this planter, let's see, that one's loose, is how worn out these closing wheel tail arms are. So this winter, not going to mess with it now because I don't have time, but this winter I'll have to probably weld in some sort of bearing in there. Jeff helped me get the row marker spaced out for corn. That's something I didn't even realize I had to do, so big thanks to Jeff there. This does have airbags, which is pretty cool. And so I've got to get that hooked up and test it out for leaks. And I will say, if I had a Kinsey, I was trying to buy those ones from the last planter video. Just didn't feel like the value was there for the money. Then there was a really nice 1223 or 1224 3600 that popped up. It was a late model. Well, late model for me. It was like an 08, 09. And I bid at 15 seconds left. I bid like 34.5 or 33.5. And what happened with that is 15 seconds it bumped up another 10 grand. I was like, I'm out. That doesn't make sense. So I missed out on that planter. I was actually pretty bummed because I drove quite a ways and went and looked at it. I didn't film just because it was early morning before work. So missed out on that, and then this thing popped up, and it's a little more complicated than the Kinsey, and I think that's where the value in the Kinsey is, because I could have run it on this 4440 here, or I could run it on the 8300, 8560, whatever, where this planter I'm pretty much stuck to running it on the 8300. So again, let me know what you think of getting this 1790, or if you guys would have tried sticking it out and kept looking for a Kinsey. So being a rookie, didn't know I needed all this stuff. These plugs are an A73003, and then got these O-rings. I think these were like $6 a piece. And then I've got these A72750 little block off pieces of oil. So let's get those thrown in. To be honest with you guys, I figured this planter was a little more sophisticated than literally using plugs to shut off the bean rows. So what I got to do is pull this out and then shove this big O-ring. I think I put it down inside here. That's how I did that last one. It's been a couple weeks now, actually. And then I believe I slide this piece on, clip it in like that. And then I take the CCS tank hose and twist it back on. I literally think it's done, other than throwing this plug in here. And now this plug works. So you pull this guy off, and you shove that one on. Pretty straightforward. Now I just got to put those plugs in. 11 total rows, and I've already done 2 of them, so 9 more times. I think I said it wrong earlier in the video, but Yield Technology Services is where I got the parts. I've got used corn plates, so it saved me like $30. And again, I know we got a fancy planer, but we're still balling on a budget. And then got singulators, extractors, and what else do we got? Yeah, so here's a new singulator, I think is what that piece is called. But looking at these units, Tim himself was helping me set it up, and he said it looks like they just left the settings from corn and threw the bean plates in there, because I think this is how it's supposed to be set up. I just popped this back row open. Here's the plate or the seed disc for soybeans, and I think everything's already set. So you're supposed to put the extractor in there, you're supposed to put the brush in the angle slot, you're supposed to unlock this singulator deal, and then put the little paper clip in the up position. So I think we just have to put these plates in. We might have got lucky, and I might have wasted money buying all these parts. So these part numbers line up, and I think all we got to do is throw these plates on. But it's got me concerned now, because it's like, do I set it how it's supposed to be for beans? Or this guy custom planted with this. His customer switched to 20-inch rows is what he told me, his main customer, and he was going to lose them if he didn't switch planters. So if he is a custom guy, I feel like I need to pay attention to what he was doing. So you guys let me know down below if I should set these the correct way for beans, or if you guys leave it set for corn and just throw your bean plates in it. So I think that's how it's supposed to be, and the lady was real nice and hunted through and tried to find ones that don't have grooves, because what happens, let's see if I can lay this up here. The way she explained it was there'll be grooves, and you can kind of see the wear line where the seed grooves into the plastic on these discs. And if I knew I didn't need all those other parts, I would have just bought brand new discs, but it's what it is. Too late now. Get this one handed here. There we go. And I was just joking about spending my YouTube money, my first check on this planter. It's definitely not paying that much, but I was able to afford a new camera. I didn't feel the quality on the audio and the video side of the GoPro was that great, and I sat there, I'm like, I wouldn't watch this if I was me. This sucks, actually. All the wind noise. So let me know down below if you guys like this camera, and or you think this camera is doing a good job. I'm having a hard time whether it's focusing on my face or it focuses on the equipment behind me. But yeah, reinvesting in the business. So thank you guys all for watching and subscribing. I should have all the corn meters set now. I did have a question on if the seed discs or the seed plates are directional. They were all marked like they were, but I couldn't tell why they would be. So I did ask TikTok that real quick. We're waiting on that video to upload so I can look at those answers. We might have to pull them back apart. And then let's throw the radar cable up in the cab for the 350 monitor and get my wiring harness and get the air lines to the air compressor all ironed out. That way when I drop the planter, the hitch down, I'm not pulling really tight on that stuff and it's not going to get pinched. Here's the harness I need to go from the tractor's radar to the 350 monitor up there. I would have got it from Ag Express, but they didn't have any in stock and they would have had to build it, and the lead time on that was just too long for me. So this is the 2-pin connector for the tractor radar, and let's get that clipped together. See if I can do it one-handed. Not quite. Got that clipped in. Now we need to see where the other end of the harness for the monitor is at. So this should be the other end that goes to the monitor, and we're going to get her plugged in real quick. Got her plugged in, and we're going to find out tomorrow if it sends radar signal for the reading to this 350 monitor. So I'm hoping I can plant that field over there in corn. Got the harnesses and the air lines routed out the back of the tractor somewhat how I want them. And now I want to switch over and tackle setting this transmission. So I wanted a ground drive planter just because I knew I was limited with the 30-gallon pump and didn't want to deal with the hydraulic drive system just in case it gave this tractor fits. It would be nice to set it pretty easily, but we're gonna figure out this transmission. I've never actually set one of these before, so hopefully I can figure it out here shortly. Now we got to set our population, and based on the operator's manual and then some competitive intelligence, the neighbor's planting at 25,300 on corn for a population. My friend Mike, if you're watching this, he recommended 24,000, and then obviously the seed salesman said between 28,000 and 30,000. So we're gonna shoot with this, put the sprockets on 25.3 right now, see how that goes for us. So what I gotta do is make sure this is in low range, which it looks like it is, and then push down, and I gotta move this chain over to this sprocket, and then move the front chain over all the way to the sprocket on the right, and then use these little plastic deals to space it back out. So seems pretty easy. Let's see if it goes that easy. I should have it set right, and that was almost too easy. But basically looked at the book and then looked at these correlating numbers and slid them around until they lined up with the idlers. That was pretty dang easy. That unit down there had a broken tail spring for the closing wheels, so I stole it off of this unit right here. And I will say that, let's see, those are all factory. This was a factory John Deere one. Some of them, there we go, have black springs, and that's what I put back in there, and it did not feel right. So I'll probably note for this winter to go in there and replace all the black ones that must be some aftermarket company back with actual John Deere springs. Well, we got a lot done today. We got all the ESET meters swapped over for corn. We got the plugs put in the bean rows. We got the transmission for the ground drive, set the population that we want for corn, and then we fixed a broken spring for the closing wheels. I just got the planter greased. I just greased the 8300. Now it's time to fold this thing up. But if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget, let me know down below what you think of this planting setup for this year. Otherwise, let's get this thing folded up, and hopefully we're in the field planting corn tomorrow.